Twin babies Ryan and Riley were ripped from their father's arms. Their bodies later recovered. A bicycle at one home is tangled around a pole.
Hey, we're out in Waverly waiting for a few more people to hop on here. We got some spotty cell service, spotty internet, so I'm glad we're able to get this going here. Just trying to show you guys some mass destruction after the flash flooding here in Waverly. So I'm just going to show you guys what we're seeing. So one of the first images, and we just saw this, our photographer Nikki just pointed this out to me. So here is the foundation of a house. The house itself went across this road and all the way on the left there. We got Nikki pointing right there. That's where that house is. And again, it went from this foundation, there's his finger again, all the way to right over there, across the road. This is insane. This is just one of the few things we've seen here in Waverly, but there is countless more. I'm gonna walk over this way. So this is the creek here. This is a car just turned over on its side, and this isn't the only car. If you look down the creek there, I wish I could zoom in, but I don't think we can. No, we cannot. There's at least 1, 2, 3 more cars down there, and this is just a pile of debris here. I mean, again, it's just crazy what you see, and you can see again, like the road over there is ripped up. You see even more piles of stuff over here along the creek. So this is really the creek that flooded. I'm walking across the creek really that flooded, and it impacted over this way. This is the Waverly Plaza. There's the Dollar General there. There's the Cash Saver there. We talked with the State Farm insurance agent there. There's a jewelry store there. And none of those people have ever been flooded before. They're not part of a floodplain. So none of them have flood insurance, including the insurance agent. So creek is fine, it's flowing here. I mean, you kind of see some garbage over here just from the debris that's been piled up here. And if you see us, this is Nikki, our photographer, walking that way. You see the people in front of him. There's so many people, community members offering water, food, anything to help people out. See, one's offering us right now. We're doing a Facebook Live. I got a water though, so I'm good. I got some orange juice, got it all. Thank you guys. So you got Nikki getting helped out here. I have water? Thank you. We got a water, we're good. But yeah, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing community members come together, offering people food. I mean, and this is just in a 1-block radius here. It's crazy. Then we have some homes here. Check out this destruction at this. The brick is totally taken off. Also, this is my 3rd water bottle I've been offered here today. That's how nice these people have been out here, just offering different stuff for us. So also I'm gonna show you guys this. Power lines are down. Check out this car over here. Power lines are down. So, I mean, there's just a whole sea of cars that are uprooted over there. But power lines are down, so you really have to watch where you are stepping here. Stepping over here. Okay, here's what I want to show you guys. You see the brick just completely fall off that house there. Again, we talked with the jewelry store owner. She lost at least $500,000 worth of stuff. She's had this store for 50 years, and everything is just completely gone. They said they found a few, like, diamonds literally in the mud and the rough. But other than that, careful, there's glass here too. We have to watch out. But other than that, they've just been trying to scrounge up anything they possibly can. There's a few, they actually showed us a whole display of like crystal, and you could see the water level got at least 3 different shelves of that crystal all muddy. But the top 2 were perfectly clean. So they had about 5 feet worth of water in there. So here we are at the plaza over here. This is the Waverly Plaza. If you can see down there, that's the State Farm. That's the Merle Norman we talked to. But this is the Cash Saver. And the Cash Saver, they have quite the story here. We talked with a couple employees. I think there were about 7 or 8 of them here at the time. And the water, they said, came in. They said there was 10 feet of water in here. Oh, those are good cookies. There was about 10 feet of water in here. And the employees themselves had to climb up on top of like a file cabinet just to get away from the rising waters because it was insane. So this is the inside of the grocery store. Everything's just gone. You see those potatoes on the floor. I mean, it's just pile of mess here. And you could see, okay, so if I were to step in here, you see that like white cabinet straight ahead of me? That's where they were sitting, waiting for the water to recede. Some of those employees, again, there was about 7 to 8 of them in here, they told me. And they were just trying to climb the water to get away from it rising. Yeah, they saw a Frito-Lay truck, which I'm gonna show you guys over here, that is completely turned over. And I've seen Facebook posts about the guy that was driving it. He was apparently making a trip here to the Cash Saver, and the waters just picked his Frito-Lay truck, here it is, and just threw it over here. It is just crazy. And again, this is just like a 1 block radius. Because yeah, this happened yesterday morning. And again, people just weren't expecting this. These floods came like no other. That is flash flooding. But again, they never expected it. I was talked to a couple people and they said the last time they had a flood like this was 2010, but it was not nearly as bad as this. So yeah, they're definitely going through a lot right now. And even when they had the flood of 2010, I'm told that wasn't even enough for them to determine if they need a flood insurance because they're not in a floodplain here. This is actually a low-income housing community. And I know a lot of people are aware of the twins that passed away. I'm told that this is by neighbors who saw it. I'm told that this is where they tried to rescue those twins.
In the middle of Tennessee, devastation that you usually only see along a coastline.
As soon as I seen it come up over this bridge, dude, it was just like a mini tsunami.
Yeah.
What could be a new state record for rainfall, over 17 inches, falling fast and forcing a wall of water down Trace Creek and through the town of Waverly. It was too fast for many to react to any warning they might have had.
She told me that we need to get in the truck and go. The water was getting ready to come over the bridge. By the time we came outside, there was no saving anything. We were wading waist deep over to my mother-in-law's here in the next building.
Neighbors in the same apartment complex show the water that came up to the second floor balcony.
Up to that line right there. The first line.
The devastation stretches for miles. Houses swept away, cars still sitting in the creek bed that now flows well below its banks. But the real cost of this tragedy is counted in the lives lost and missing.
When that girl hit that tree right there, she hit that thing so hard and her head went under, and I never seen it come back up, dude.
Tragically, this death toll continues to rise in this very small town of Waverly. But when you talk to the survivors of homes literally swept away, you realize just how close it was from being an even greater tragedy.
That's all I could think about. Like, we're like, this is the end of the world. You know, I've read it in the Bible, you know, stuff like this, you know, end of the world type stuff. And, you know, all we could do was pray, man. We all sat up here and prayed, and we prayed hard.
Shock and sadness in the eyes of the survivors after a sight that has never been seen here before.
Our planet is under threat. We've all seen the images. Extreme flooding, forest fires, deforestation, melting glaciers and rising sea levels, wildlife on the brink of extinction. Saving the planet will require revolutionary thinking about how we do business and how we live our lives. But there is one simple change that you can make right now that will help to save the planet. And best of all, it's free. Change your search engine to Search Scene. We donate 95% of our profits to major international charities that are working hard to fight climate change and the suffering it causes.
As they hover over the wreckage, these rescue workers strain their eyes for any signs of survivors, following floods that no one this side of Tennessee had ever seen before. Dozens are reported to have been killed, with many more missing, after record-breaking rain which shattered homes and businesses across the state's mid-counties.
I mean, it's a total loss. We had about 6 feet of water inside the restaurant. All the equipment, everything has been destroyed, flipped over, washed out. We've got stuff from other businesses that are actually washed into our place with the windows smashed out. But it's totally destroyed. There's nothing salvageable.
Door-to-door emergency services continued on Sunday as families waited to hear news of their loved ones. Many of those still missing lived in neighborhoods where water rose the fastest, like here in Humphreys County, where a record 17 inches of rain fell. After visiting the main street of Waverly, where some homes were washed off their foundation, State Governor Bill Lee called it a devastating picture of loss and heartache.
This is still unfolding, even this afternoon, and there's much yet to know about what the end results will be, but what we do know is that it's incredibly difficult, and our hearts and our prayers need to be for those communities, for those folks in that community.
Authorities have meanwhile imposed a nighttime curfew as the search and rescue effort continues.
There's houses moved off their foundation, cars and trees. I mean, this is almost to biblical proportions here, like a massive tornado come through here.
So far I know, my whole block is history. I mean, it has demolished houses, washed them down. I mean, this is no lie. It washed them down.
Oh, just devastating. These search efforts are still underway in Tennessee to find those missing after fatal flooding this weekend. 21 people have been confirmed killed. 20 others are still missing. Officials say the majority of those missing are in the Waverly area in Humphreys County, and many of the missing are children. The city of Waverly is seeing devastating damage like impassable roadways, overturned cars, and homes and sheds swept completely off their foundations.
How important flood insurance is. Gotcha. One of the biggest things and problems we have out there in Hampton Roads is people not getting flood insurance.
Sure. A surprising fact maybe that they'll find.
Your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover floods.
Okay.
So if you don't have flood insurance and you live in a flood zone, you're not covered. FEMA on average gives you about $6,000 to recover from a flood. That's generally not enough to even buy an AC unit. So flood insurance is your primary tool to fight flood insurance or flood losses.
I'm getting my unit repaired right now, and I know that for a fact. You're right.
There you go.
What other things can people do to protect their homes, though?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do, just from simple things like raising your hot water heater in your garage up on cinder blocks and things like that. Getting prepared for the hurricane season, making plans with your family and friends. But really, more important than anything is just flood insurance. Go to floodfluent.org, learn about flood insurance. It's super cheap. That's another myth out there that people might not know, is that they think it's expensive. It's very, very affordable.
How affordable are we talking about here? So
your average policy in the flood zone, on average across the state, is about $771 for a year for $250,000 worth of coverage.
That's pretty good.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Climate change and its devastating impacts are now accelerating faster than ever, according to the UN's new climate report out this month. And yet FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program hasn't changed at all since its inception, but it is about to. Starting in October, the NFIP's insurance pricing will reflect a property's unique flood risk, finally factoring in climate change. As of now, federal flood insurance is based on a property's 1% annual chance of flooding and its elevation. Under the new model, FEMA will also look at the home's replacement cost, whether the risk is rainfall, river, or coastal flooding, and how close the property is to the source of that potential flooding. And most importantly, FEMA will now factor in future catastrophic modeling from climate change, including sea level rise, drought, and wildfires.
This has been a Cat in a Mirror production 2021.